Welcome back to the Iconic Wealth for Women podcast. Today, we're going to talk about how to make your first 100K in your online coaching or course-based business. Because someone asked me the other day, what would I do differently, if anything, to make my first 100K again? And I want to go through this with you because let me tell you, when I first made my first 100K, I didn't do it overnight like a lot of people talk about. I didn't do six figures in 90 days or any of these massive big promises that a lot of people are making in the industry. And I didn't even really do it in my first year at all. Really, what was surprised me the most was I couldn't figure out why not. I was highly intelligent. I'm hugely successful in my own career as a sales professional. So I've been working in sales for a long time, selling high ticket things, both across real estate and in recruitment. So I knew my stuff. I knew I was good at selling, but I just couldn't figure out why I wasn't selling my own services to that level. So I just couldn't seem to crack it. I couldn't seem to break that six-figure mark. I was sitting on probably about 50 to 60K for a while. And you may be in that same boat. Maybe you're hitting the 2-3K a month and you just can't kind of push over that margin that a lot of people talk about to get those elusive 10K months. So I wanted to share with you kind of what really changed for me when I did finally get it, when I grasped that. And then what I did was did another 100K in under 6 months during COVID, which was obviously the worst time ever for a lot of people. And now I've gone on to make multi six figures, and actually I'll probably cross 7 this year. There's 3 key things that I realized I did differently. I took some time to reflect and I wanted to share it with you because it's a lot of people ask me, what would I do differently? So the first thing is I stopped allowing clients to pull me from pillar to post. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the first thing is I kept trying to help everyone. So one minute I was helping someone potentially create a new course online. Then I was building out someone's sales funnels for their book. I was helping with maybe marketing messages and gaining clarity on that. So basically what I was doing was I was letting clients dictate to me how I helped them. I was creating offers to satisfy their needs, not mine. So that's one of the first things that I knew that I had to stop doing, because you can't scale or grow something like that. And actually, when you think about it, why does someone come to a coach or a consultant? Because they want you to be the expert at something. So what did I do differently? I flipped my business. And what I mean by that was I decided what I wanted to get known for. So what did I want to be the best at? What was I good at doing? What did I enjoy doing? And I became a launch specialist. So basically, I love taking someone's idea out of their head onto paper, into a process, and then getting them their first 5 to 6 clients. That's what I love to see. I love to see the first sales. I love them to go from charging, maybe by the hour to suddenly charging their first 2, 3, 5K. And that was what I did. And I helped service-based businesses do that over and over again. So that's the first thing I did. I took control of what I wanted to be known for in the industry. I became the expert. Second thing was I created a process for that expertise. Now, some people call it a methodology, some people call it a signature program, but basically I created my own methodology, which was simply 4 Ps. I plan it, I package it, then I promote, and then we create real profits. It's not sexy, I know, it's not necessarily glamorous, but it works over and over again. So having a methodology allowed me to become an expert. It allowed me to show a proven process to my customers that I could get them results because I follow a process. So what I did was then I used that methodology in my marketing content. For example, I created a lead magnet that says 4 pillars to your signature program. I use it in my webinars to show people I have a methodology and a process to take them through so that they know they can follow the same steps to get results. Now, it doesn't mean it's a cookie cutter approach. So a lot of people confuse this with that you're teaching people only one way. You're not. You're using a process to get the clients the results that they want. So it's a methodology. It's not a copy me everything I do and become a mini me. So, but having a methodology creates you as the expert. And I quite often like to quote Maslow's hierarchy of needs, where lots of people know that methodology. It's been around forever and it applies to people in different circumstances. So, your foundations of your life could be completely different to a millionaire that lives up the road. His foundations are going to be probably a lot different to yours. So again, you can apply the methodology, but it will vary from person to person. And that's exactly the same as what you want to have in your business is, do you have a methodology or a process someone can apply to get the results that they desire wherever they're at on their journey? So that was one of the other things I did. And that meant my marketing and my process got so much easier. Then what I did, the third step, was I leveraged this process. What I mean by that is I stayed consistent with that one offer, but I then put 2 levels of service around it. So I had a program, which was a group program, and that's now got into a course instead. And then I created a high ticket offer, which was my done with you services. And for basically the last 3 years, that's all I've done. And I have case study after case study now of being that launch expert. I have many 10, 20, 30K launches where clients have gone on to launch using that process. I've started to systemize it in my business, so it's easier for me now to work with clients. I can work with them faster because I have a process and a background to fit that. And so our done with you services get much slicker and much more professional. But this allowed me then to basically gain more experience, master my skills, but also charge higher ticket. So, my minimum program for the done with you service was 7,500. That's how I very quickly added another 100K to my business. Because when you work it out, I think it works out to 12 clients. I think it does, something like that. I'm going to work it out while I'm live because I love doing random things like this. I think it was 12 divided by 7,500. Yeah, 13 clients. There you go. So I added that really quickly to my business very, very fast. And that's how I managed to do that in under 6 months, when before that I hadn't done it in a year. So high ticket works really effectively. But again, having that process. And then ideally, what you want to do is do what my clients have done. So one of my very first clients have just smashed their $1 million mark. And you can do the same. So remember, I'm not alone in this process. Think of some of the biggest names in the industries, and we've all done the same thing. So Marie Forleo has had B School for years. She's just improved it, mastered it, got it so much better than it originally was. Denise Duffield Thomas, the Money Boot Camp. Over and over again, she sells that. That's her foundation program into her then higher level mastermind. Tony Robbins, we all talk about Tony Robbins and he's this big guru, but he has repeated processes over and over again, and he's just added a few more as he's got bigger and obviously with a bigger audience. Now, my clients, which I was just mentioning, Stephanie and Nikki Taylor from Rent to Rent Success, they also followed this process and they crossed their first $1 million mark last month in online sales. So what did they do? They created one program, their Rent to Rent Success program. We created a 6-step process for them to follow. They sell that process over and over again. Now, then what did they do after they worked with me? So we launched twice with them and did over 50K in launches. And then they went on to grow it. So I don't take full credit for their million because they went on to grow it. But what did they do? They followed the process. They then wrote their book around the 6 steps. So they have a Rent to Rent Success book. They use that now for lead generation into the webinar that we created. They've tweaked it and perfected it as they've gone along over the years. But now they have that process and they repeat the process, which sells their program without them even being there. So that's how they've gone on to create now their $1 million mark. And this is where a lot of people I find go wrong is they'll create something once and then they'll go off and do something completely different. They don't stay with a process. And the problem with that is you're then forever creating offers, you're forever trying new things, and you're not actually just improving on the things that you do. So that's the other thing I started to shift in my business was I now run an annual workshop. But that annual workshop is all about planning out your year ahead. And now I've done it once. I did it to a certain number last year. Now I want to double that number this year. And I'm going to continue that process to grow it. I'm not going to change it. I want to perfect it. I want to get it better, because that sets up my mastermind for the year. So what are you doing where you need to repeat the process rather than start something completely new? So that's kind of what I did, really, to hit that 100K mark. So I want you to really think about, what are you the expert at? What are you known for in the industry? Do you have a repeatable methodology that you can use in your marketing? You can share on stage, you can put into a book. Do you have that methodology? And then thirdly, are you moving into that high ticket space where you can leverage? So you have one core program, but then you have another higher level program, but the methodology doesn't change. The process does, how much level of support they have around it. So if you want to grow your online business, keep it simple. Be the expert that someone wants to go to. Once you've perfected the expertise and repeated the process, you'll find your growth so much easier. Your lead generation gets easier. Your marketing gets simplified. Your selling process becomes more regular. So if you want to create your own methodology or do your first launch, why not just reach out and book a call? I have hoped you enjoyed this quick podcast around how I added another 100K to my business, and now how I've gone on to do multi six figures. And it will also be the process that gets me over the 7-figure line this year. So hope that's helped. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Do comment below the podcast, drop me a message, let me know what your thoughts are in your business and how this has added value. And don't forget to follow and like us too. Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.